Hello and welcome to Casual Chat, episode 3. Or Casual Talk, because I seem to use both of those terms interchangeably. So it's either. So this week in TCG news, I'll be going to both pre-releases that are coming up. So both the Tales of Aria for Flesh and Blood and the Innistrad Midnight Hunt for Magic the Gathering. Unfortunately in my area, no one is playing Flesh and Blood yet, so there's no pre-release. So I'm having to travel all the way to London to get to one of the pre-releases. I left that a bit too late, so I had to book a 6:30 p.m. pre-release on the Saturday, which is going to run till midnight, so I'm also going to have to stay in London overnight, but I'm very excited to finally get to play. Plus, they're giving out the first edition packs for there, and hopefully I can crack a cold foil, because I still haven't encountered one of those yet, and I would like to see what they are. So, I'm excited for that, and I hope it goes well. For the Midnight Hunt one, that's a lot easier. There's Forbidden Planet is doing pre-releases, so I don't really have a local gaming store or an LGS, so I'm going to be doing it there. Still should be fun. The people who work there are really nice, and they interact with the community on the Facebook page too, and yeah, perfectly willing to support them. Haven't read too much of the spoilers yet, but going to have to do a brief review over them and the Aria one, just so my deck composition isn't terrible. I've also still not learned how to play Flesh and Blood. This week's objective is definitely playing mirror matches with the Blitz decks, just so my opponent doesn't get too frustrated with me asking constant questions as to how things interact or what the rules are. I know there's a few of those learn in 6-minute videos, and I believe the professor also did one, so there'll be a lot of research into that. In Guild Wars 2 news, I was actually starting to fall behind because other than filming stuff, I hadn't had much time to go in and play. But now I've had a chance to catch up a bit. I decided to devote all of Saturday to doing that. I was working towards Vision, so with the return to each area achievements that are being added, I've been filling the Vision requirements as I go along. I'm now caught up on those, so I've got the first 3 weeks of that done and the associated Vision ones, except obviously the Astral Weapons. I'm slowly grinding those out, but it's still going to be a while before that collection is finished. Nothing to worry about, it's fairly easy. As for the Festival of the Four Winds, hadn't interacted with that at all, so now I'm trying to do all the achievements as quickly as I can. One thing that was really funny to me, probably not to anyone else, but for the Griffin adventures, I'd completely forgotten you have to mash both the dive key and the spacebar key at the same time to get that height back for actually finishing them. And I'd been getting incredibly frustrated, and I wasn't understanding what I was doing wrong at all until I saw a random Reddit comment mentioning that again. Oh, it solved so many of my problems off the bat, just if you're also stuck on that at the moment. I defeated Leandri years ago when it came out the first time, and I remember that being one of my best achievements earlier in the game. I still use this, the mini that came from that achievement on my main character, and since she's back, it's been a few years. I've been away. I stopped playing the game for about 3 years, and I only came back earlier this year, so I've caught up on everything, but obviously the festival hadn't been back. So now that it's back, I think I'm going to have to fight and beat her again just to prove to myself I still can. Because I have noticed my reflexes get slightly slower the older I get. If I don't use APM, but I've been using, you know, those typing trackers and using the WPM, and I've noticed I'm losing WPM despite constantly still using my hands. Maybe that's carpal tunnel, or maybe it's just age, but either way, I can see degradation occurring. In terms of general updates, the Guild Wars 2 videos are doing really well. I gained nearly 20 subscribers just from the gearing up guide, and I did put a lot of effort into that one, so hopefully that'll continue. The one I've just released, the Alt-aholic guide, or Alt-aholism guide, was more lighter, just to inform players of the options, because I think a lot of people don't quite realize everything they can do with it. It wasn't meant to be a more in-depth guide, and unfortunately someone has already commented that I've left in a few speech flubs. Normally I do edit all of those out, but I think it was partially I was running out of time, and I also don't know what to say. Like, I was trying to get the runtime to equal out on 2 clips, and I'd already sped up 1 clip to match it. I thought it wouldn't be noticeable, but watching the video back after a break, you can definitely tell where I've completely flubbed the speech, and that's not great. I'll try to avoid that happening again. Since I'll be away this weekend, I'm going to have to pre-record both the videos ahead of time during the week. For the Guild Wars 2 one, as I said in the previous video, I'm going to do it on useful websites to help you improve. There's dozens of websites that can be useful for you, but I'm probably going to narrow it down to the top 10. I'll go more in depth on the big ones, you know, like Guild Wars 2 efficiency and some of the farming ones that really help people, along with the build websites. It won't be a complete coverage of everything because that would take hours, but it'll be a brief overview just to inform people. That's the idea of the guides, it's just to give people enough information that they can explore themselves. It's not to handhold throughout the entire thing. I do see people do those 50-minute long guides with every single step, whereas I prefer just to get the brief information and then I can explore myself. So the guides I make tend to be focused in the same way. I'm not sure if that's what people want, but we'll see going forward. And as usual, I always want feedback because I can't grow without feedback. Also, if anyone watching this, does my audio peak? Because when I'm speaking on this, I can't hear any peaking, but I don't know if other people are getting the same thing. I'd also been working on a video on MMO symbiosis. It's a topic I get really into, and I have actually repeatedly written nearly 5-page scripts or conversation debate pieces on these before, so I did make a video on that, but I wasn't happy with how it turned out. It's easy to get off track and ranty on those, but I want it to be more focused and unbiased. So even though I had written out a script and recorded it, I wasn't happy with the end product and I'm not going to release that one. I'll probably give it another attempt in another few weeks and hopefully that one will go better. For the TCG video for this week, I'm probably going to do a survival kit or what you need to bring to your pre-releases, since I'll be packing those up anyway. Should be handy if anyone new is coming along and doesn't know what they should bring or what might be useful to bring. And yeah, it'll just be a refresher for myself too. In terms of general channel growth, it's going well and we're on track for that end of September target. And if I can keep up the quality of the videos and hopefully keep doing interesting content, that should continue, which I'm thankful for everyone who has subscribed so far, and yeah, I hope I can grow. Other things I've been doing this week, I went down a bit of a comic rabbit hole and watched all of the, well, not watched, read all of the Miss Marvel comics that I'd been behind on. That's the new Miss Marvel, Camilla, is it Khan? Yeah, Camilla Khan, and all of her adventures. I do like the state comic books have gotten to now, or at least the Marvel universe, where so much has happened over their built-up history that the background people just don't bat an eyelid no matter what's going on. Just like giant T-Rex rampaging down the street, just another Tuesday. And yeah, the destruction wrought and all of it, they're just used to everything. And that's really what would probably happen after so long of being exposed to so much. It's a nice thing. It would probably be fourth wall breaking if it wasn't so built up by now. And I do enjoy that style of comic. It's more lighthearted. While they do try to have some stakes, it's just, you're there to have fun. It doesn't always have to be brutal and grimdark. But definitely that was what took up most of my free time this week. Thanks for coming to another one of my monologues. Hopefully these will get longer and better. I know people like videos to be a bit longer so they can sort of zone out and listen to things. A product of my style of speech, which I use in my work life, is that I'm very direct and to the point about things. I give the briefest and shortest amount of information I can on something, and then that's the end of it. But that style isn't great for YouTubing, where you want to pad out the video's runtime, which is something I still have to work on. But hey, next week's video will probably be a breakdown of how both the pre-releases went and anything exciting that happened there or anything else that's come up during the week. Thanks for watching and see you next week.